Hi everybody, Emily Craven here, and today I am talking with the lovely Joel Naoum. Now, Joel is a Sydney-based editor, blogger, writer and book publisher at Pan Macmillan's digital-first imprint Momentum, and he has also researched digital publishing experimentation for the Unwin Fellowship, so we're very privileged to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us, Joel.
Thanks, Emily.
Momentum is a digital-first publisher. Can you tell us what this term actually means?
A digital-first publisher. When we first launched Momentum, we were calling it a digital-only publisher, which essentially would be never publishing anything into print. But then we had a couple of successful books that we wanted to put into print, so we kind of redefined it as being a kind of launching pad for authors with potential big success into print from a digital-first kind of background. So the authors that we think will work in digital. Some of them will just stay in digital and continue working really well in digital, and then others, if they're lucky and they sell extraordinarily well, and we think that would translate into markets in the trade, we would move them over into print at a certain point.
So it's almost your experimentation ground in a way.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, that was one of the reasons that we founded Momentum ultimately, was because we felt like there was a kind of dearth of opportunities out there for new authors with the demise of the Red Group, which was the big booksellers, Borders and Angus and Robertson, a few years ago now, and the lack of shelf space that those booksellers took with them when they went under. It was never really taken up by the other booksellers, and so we saw a real opportunity and a threat there for traditional publishers, in that we wouldn't have the space to kind of try out new authors that we thought might work and build them over a period of time into the successes of the future. And sometimes it takes, many, many books to get an author to that point. It can take up to 10 books, sometimes. There are famous examples of that all throughout the world, of authors who've taken 10 books or so to really get a big name behind themselves. And we just thought that we would no longer have the kind of forgiving atmosphere that the publishing industry had been up until that point.
That sort of sounds to me like as a result of being able to have this digital-first model, you've been able to publish or accept books that you would have reluctantly sort of turned away in a print publishing environment.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a mix. The way it's kind of developed over time has changed a little bit from how we initially conceived of it. At first, we saw it as an opportunity to try out new authors in this experimentation way. Also to publish previously published books that were out of print that we could bring back into availability through digital only. What's happened over time is that we've discovered that new authors are more successful for us, so we're pushing more new authors than we are previously published books. And then also we're focusing on a really diverse list, but mostly focused on genre fiction, because I think that's simultaneously an area of fiction publishing which is underpublished in the trade, and also an area that publishes well into digital and sells well in digital. So we have a kind of dual purpose there of trying to discover the talent of tomorrow, but also trying to find books that work in digital. So it's a bit of a mix, I guess.